An Introduction to the Science of Hadith by Ibn al-Salah al-Shahrazuri, 577 to 643, the most influential work in the science of Hadith in existence. Number 20. When a Hadith is from two men, one of whom is discredited, for instance, a Hadith from Thabit al-Bunani and Aban ibn Abi Ayyash from Anas, omitting the discredited transmitter from the isnad and mentioning only the reliable one is not condoned. This is out of fear that the hadith contains something from the discredited transmitter which the reliable transmitter did not give. Ahmed ibn Hanbal and later Abu Bakr al-Khatib said something similar to this. Al-Khatib said, in cases like this, Muslim ibn Hajjaj sometimes omitted the discredited transmitter from the isnad, mentioning the reliable transmitter and then saying, and someone else, wal-akhar, in allusion to the discredited transmitter. This declaration is valueless. In the same way, when the hadith is from two reliable transmitters, the student should not omit one of them because of the aforementioned possibility affecting it, even if it is the case that the danger posed by the omission is less. Refraining from the omission of a transmitter is, in these two scenarios, is not the same as refraining from something absolutely forbidden, because the presumption is that the two relations do agree in the aforementioned possibility that one transmission contains material not included in the other. This possibility is remote and unlikely. It is a kind of interpolation, the intentional commission of which is not permitted, as was discussed above in the category on the interpolated hadith. God knows best. Number 21. When the student hears one part of a hadith from one teacher and the other part from another, and this confounds them so that he is no longer able to distinguish between the two parts, and describes the hadith to both of them, explaining that part of it is from one of them and part from the other, this is permissible. Zuhri did this in the hadith of the lie, hadith al-ifq, which was related from Urwa ibn al-Musayyib, Alqama ibn Waqas al-Laythi, Ubaydullah ibn Abdullah bin Utbah, from Aisha, God be pleased with her. He said, all of them transmitted to me a portion of her hadith. They said, she said. The entire contents of that kind of hadith is to be treated as if the teacher had related it ambiguously from one of the two men, so that when one of them is discredited, it is not permissible to cite any part of the hadith. It is also impermissible for anyone, after the mixing of the contents of the hadith, to omit the mention of either of the two transmitters and relate the hadith solely from the other. Rather, it is necessary to mention them both and make a clear declaration that part of the hadith is from one of them and part from the other. God knows best. Category 27. Guidelines for the transmitter of hadith. Ma'rifat adab al-muhaddith. Some of these guidelines have already been treated where required in the previous categories. The science of hadith is a noble science, consistent with good morals and virtuous habits, and incompatible with bad morals and shameful habits. It is one of the sciences of the hereafter and not of this world. Let whoever seeks to take up teaching hadith and lecturing on some of its sciences first make his intention sound and pure, and cleanse his heart of earthly aims and their stains. Furthermore, let him be on guard against the affliction which comes from the love and heedlessness of rank. There used to be disagreement over the age when it comes suitable for a transmitter to take up teaching hadith and to be appointed to relate them. Our view is that when the need arises for the hadith in his possession, it becomes desirable for him to take up relating and spreading them, no matter what his age is. We heard that the excellent judge Abu Muhammad ibn Khallad al-Ramhumurzi, God bless him, said, on the basis of report and reflection, it seems correct first to me that the appropriate age for a transmitter to begin teaching hadith is 50 years, because that is the end of middle age and when physical maturity is realized. Suhayb ibn Wathil said, I am 50 years old at the height of my powers. The trickery of events has given me experience. There is nothing wrong with transmitting at 40 because that is the threshold of maturity and the apogee of perfection. The Messenger of God, God be pleased with him, was informed of his mission when he was 40. At 40, a person's resolution and strength reach their peak and his intellect becomes abundant and his judgment is improved. Al-Qadi Iyad disagreed with Ibn Khallad over this and said, "How many of the early pious forebears and other transmitters never reached that age, dying before then, but still spread hadith and knowledge beyond calculation?" Umar ibn Abdulaziz died before 40, Sa'id ibn Jubair did not reach 50, and the same is true of Ibrahim al-Nakha'i. Malik ibn Anas conducted classes for the people in his early 20s, some say at 17 years, and the people in his class were numerous, and this was while his own teachers were still alive. Likewise, Muhammad ibn Idris al-Shafi'i taught at a young age and was appointed to do that, God knows best. What Ibn Khallad said is not objectionable. It should be understood that he said it regarding those who take up the transmission of hadith without the necessary proficiency in the science on their own impulse, which prematurely came upon them before the age he mentioned. In that case, they should teach hadith only after attaining the age mentioned, for that is the time when they will probably be in need for their hadith. As for those whom Iyad mentioned who transmitted before that, it is obvious that this was because of their precocious proficiency in this science, in combination with the early proficiency. The need for them to teach became manifest to them, or they were asked to do so either by an explicit request or through the concatenation of circumstances, so that they came to transmit before the stipulated age. The age a transmitter should desist from relating hadith, it is the age when it is feared that he may be senile or doting and that he will confuse hadith and relate hadith which are not his own. People differ according to personal circumstances as to when they reach this age. Likewise, let the transmitter who goes blind and fears that hadith are not his own will be imposed upon him desist from transmitting. Ibn Khallad said, "What pleases me the most is that he desists at 80, because that is the threshold of senility. However, if his mind remains firm and his judgment intact, and if he knows his hadith and still occupies himself with them, taking care to transmit them in expectation of a heavenly reward, I wish the best for him." The reason for what he said is that in most cases the condition of an 80-year-old has become weakened, and confusion and erring are to be feared from him, and this will not be detected in him until after he has confounded his hadith. This happened to more than one reliable transmitter, including Abdul Razak, Sa'id ibn Abi Aruba. Many of the people have taught hadith after surpassing this age, and good fortune aided them, and well-being accompanied them. These include the companions Anas ibn Malik, Sahal ibn Sa'ad, Abdullah ibn Abi Awfa, as well as Malik ibn Anas, Al-Layth ibn Sa'ad, Sufyan ibn Uyayna, Ali ibn Ja'ad, among a large number of early and late scholars. Their number includes several who transmitted hadith after attaining the age of 100, including Al-Hasan ibn Arafah, Abu al-Qasim al-Baghawi, Abu Ishaq al-Hujaymi, and the judge Abu Tayyib al-Tabari, God be pleased with all of them. God knows best. A transmitter should not transmit in the presence of someone more deserving of that than he. When Ibrahim al-Nakha'i and Sha'bi met, Ibrahim did not say anything. Someone added he disliked relating hadith in a city where there was a transmitter more deserving than he on account of age or some other reason. He heard that Yahya bin Ma'in said, "When I transmit hadith in a city containing someone like Abu Mu'shir, my beard should be shaved off. That is his status as a scholar should be revoked." That means Abu Mu'shir, his beard shaved off, his status should be revoked. We also heard from him, whoever transmits hadith in a town containing someone more deserving to transmit than him is stupid. When a transmitter is asked for something which he knows to be in the possession of someone else in his city or elsewhere with a more elevated isnad than his, or an isnad preferable for some other reason, he should tell the student about that person and guide him to him. Giving good advice is part of the religion. Stay tuned for many more parts.